Ecology is a scientific study of the interactions of organisms and their environment. Ecology involves observations and experiments to test hypothetical explanations of ecological phenomena. Interactions of organisms and their environment refers to the way that the organism affects the environment as well as how the environment affects the organism. Ecology can also be thought of as a multidisciplinary field of study involving all areas of biology as well as the physical sciences. An ecosystem is a community of organisms and the physical environment in which it lives. Each of the following describes the organisms within their environment and their interactions with other organisms in their environment. An abiotic factor are all the non-living factors which affect life in any ecosystem. These include, but are not limited to, the following. The first abiotic factor is space. All organisms require enough space to ensure adequate resources to food, water, shelter, and mates. The second abiotic factor is temperature. Environmental temperatures affect biological processes and the ability of most organisms to regulate their temperatures. Most organisms have a temperature range in which they best function. Very few organisms have an active metabolism at temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius or above 45 degrees Celsius. The third abiotic factor is oxygen. Most living things require oxygen for cellular respiration, which is the process that releases energy from food. Terrestrial organisms obtain oxygen from the atmosphere, while aquatic organisms get it from the dissolved oxygen in the water. The fourth abiotic factor is sunlight. Sunlight is the ultimate source of energy for all photosynthetic organisms, which in turn provide the resources for other living things. The fifth abiotic factor is water. Water is necessary for all life. The ability to find water, to maintain water balance, and to conserve water help determine the habitat range for each species. Sixth abiotic factor is inorganic and organic soil nutrients. Inorganic soil nutrients include minerals such as phosphates, nitrates, and potassium, which come from rocks. Organic nutrients include organic compounds in humus, which provide the growth of bacteria and fungi. The physical structure, water holding potential, pH, and nutrient level of soil will limit the distribution of plants and in turn animals in a given area. So while abiotic factors can play a role in what happens in the ecosystem, so too do biotic factors. Biotic factors are the living environment and include all other organisms that interact with the individual, both of the same species and all other species. Biotic factors include, but are not limited to, number 1, detritus, the decomposing plant and animal materials, including their carcasses as well as their waste. Bacteria and fungi break these materials down so that other organisms can use it. The second biotic factor is disease, the result of infection by fungi, bacteria, virus, and other pathogens. Disease is an important biotic factor because it will help to reduce the number of organisms within the community. The third biotic factor is the predator-prey interaction. This also helps reduce the size of populations within an ecosystem. A predator is an animal that kills and eats another animal for food. The prey is the hunted animal. For example, a coyote kills and eats a hare, so therefore the coyote is the predator and the hare is the prey. The fourth biotic factor is competition. This is the struggle for survival that occurs between two organisms, either of the same or different species. Competition tends to limit the size of the population, keeping it in balance with the available resources. There are two types of competition. The first one is interspecific competition, which is competition among different organisms of different species, whereas intraspecific competition is competition within the same species. A symbiotic relationship is a type of biotic relationship in which two different organisms live in close association with each other to the benefit of at least one. There are 5 types of symbiotic relationships, including, first one is mutualism. Mutualism is the type of symbiosis resulting in mutual benefit to both of the organisms in the relationship. For example, algae and fungus of lichens. Second type of symbiotic relationship is commensalism. With commensalism, a relationship happens where one organism benefits, but the other organism is neither harmed nor benefited. For example, the shark and the fish that attach to the shark. The shark benefits from the fish attaching to it because the fish clean the shark. The third type is parasitism. Parasitism is a symbiotic relationship in which one organism benefits and the other one is harmed. The organism that benefits is called the parasite, and the organism that is harmed is called the host. For example, tapeworm in humans or the pesky mosquito. The fourth symbiotic relationship is parasitoidism, which is similar to parasitism. However, one benefits and the other one is eventually killed by a sort of slow death. So for example, if you have a female wasp that stings a spider, the spider will undergo paralysis but not death. The wasp will then lay a single egg on the spider, and when that egg hatches, it will slowly eat the body of the spider, eventually killing it. Here's another type. The last type of symbiotic relationship is predation. Predation is where the interaction is beneficial to one species and detrimental to the other. In this case, the prey is usually killed fairly quickly. So for example, a leopard hunting an antelope.